Hi, I'm Skype, and I'm gonna shit all over your chest.
Oh, you're going to make me rub it in, aren't you, Skype?
Yeah, oh, yeah, and you're gonna love it.
Well, while Skype's working, guys, we're going to talk about a weird video that was taken at a very weird place. We've talked about it before, again with Aldo, but we're talking about CERN.
We did talk about this with Aldo?
Yeah, we talked about what happens when they fire those things up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn, I don't recall that at all.
But CERN translates, and it's obviously from a different language, so it doesn't match up, but it's the European Organization of Nuclear Research, birthplace of the World Wide Web, and it's home to a bunch of particle accelerators.
Yeah, it's like its main function is to provide the particle accelerators and equipment like that that's needed for high energy physics research. And so a lot of countries come together at CERN to work on experiments and try to create black holes, like miniature black holes, and it's also where the Large Hadron Collider is, which it's being used to measure the Higgs boson God particle thing.
So for those who are listening that have heard of a Hadron Collider, what the fuck does this thing do?
Well, it basically fires particles at each other.
Like atoms, right? Like the very basic.
Yeah, it's the world's largest and the most powerful particle collider that exists. And it's used to measure the Higgs boson, like I mentioned, but it's also able to allow the scientists to test out different theories in particle physics. They're able to use this to demonstrate. Well, I shouldn't say to demonstrate, but to try to prove that their theories are correct. And this allows them to do the experiments that allow that to happen.
Now, they say they do all this under the guise of high energy physics research. And you mentioned that they're trying to make a black hole, but that's not a joke or a conspiracy theory. They've said this. They're literally trying to create miniature black holes. And that's, to me, just an all-around bad idea. How do you contain and control a black hole?
Hold on 1 second. Did you just hear those weird noises?
No, you went dead, actually.
I just heard like meh, meh. Like I heard you talking, but it was, I don't know. That's weird.
You're trying to cut into our show right now.
Yeah. Why don't you want us to cover CERN? Why?
This is round 2 of recording this, guys. The first take magically disappeared off my computer. No joke.
And my notes are gone. They disappeared too.
Which was a Word document on his computer.
Yeah, it was a Word document on my computer. So we'll see if this show gets out, or if we start getting bombs thrown through our window.
Maybe we should call it something other than CERN. How about Blurn?
Blurn. Nrek. They'll never know. Make sure it's all in lowercase.
Another interesting thing about CERN is that if you guys remember our good buddy John Titor, the time traveler, who...
Oh, shit, this guy.
Yeah. He mentioned CERN and said that they unlocked the ability of time travel in 2001.
Those crafty bastards.
And who's to say they haven't?
I'm to say they haven't. Obama doesn't believe you because he had a jump room in the 80s. So, Obama trumps CERN in your face, Titor.
Wrong again, douchebag.
But then again, CERN has been around since the 50s. So maybe they were just using like a splinter organization for the, what was it, the Phoenix Project or Project Pegasus? Something like that. One of those two. I can never remember which mythical beast sends people to Mars, but it's one of them. But those were CERN scientists. I guarantee it.
Well, some of the weird stuff that people claim the scientists at CERN are doing is one is that they're trying to make portals, and whistleblowers claim that they're trying to access a parallel dimension to use as some sort of escape route when Earth becomes uninhabitable.
Damn. That's some intense shit.
That is. I mean, I was happy with just the weird underground bunkers.
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird enough. Now you're adding in alternate dimension travel to escape the inevitable demise of Earth. You bastards.
So you're saying all the governments of the world and all the rich people are just going to ditch us?
Yeah. Fuck you guys. Enjoy the nuclear holocaust that we caused. We're going to go chill.
On an alternate
Little
Earth.
do they know, once they get over to alternate Earth, they think it's all fine and dandy. But then they realize that there's fucking squid people that took over the land. And then they just start getting attacked by all these. It's like Planet of the Apes, but with squids.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'd be less scary than apes.
No fucking way. Squids are terrifying.
An ape can just rip your fucking arms off.
Do you know how strong squids are?
No, dude, I don't.
A squid would fuck your world up. a squid would fuck up a fucking... It would destroy a chimpanzee. Squids are not to be trifled with.
I actually just saw a video of a kayaker, an ocean kayaker, have a good-sized octopus attach itself to the bottom of his kayak, and he had a hard time getting it off there. It definitely seemed like if that octopus wanted to tip that thing, it would have.
Oh, yeah. I saw a documentary on the Humboldt squid once, and Humboldt squids can get up to 6 feet long, and one grabbed one of the divers by the fin and pulled her down, and in a matter of seconds, she was down almost 100 feet.
Oh my God, that's my nightmare.
Yeah. And if that thing continued pulling her, like, she would have been done. She would have become a squid food. And I don't know if you know how squids eat, but they have a fucking beak. So you're just being torn apart piece by little piece by this monster beak underwater where no one can hear you scream. Just like space, except with squids.
All right, the squids are scarier.
Yeah, see? In your face, fucking chimpanzees.
Well, another thing that whistleblowers are claiming...
Oh yeah, we're talking about CERN.
Another thing that whistleblowers are claiming is that when they're attempting to make these portals or find these portals by generating a portal and hoping they land on the right one, I guess. They might just land
Let's
on...
roll the dice.
Yeah.
Do we want Squidworld? Maybe they end up in Waterworld and they have to hang out with Kevin Costner for the rest of their lives.
Oh, I'll take the squids.
Imagine, oh my God. Imagine if they go to Waterworld and Kevin Costner is one of the people that get to go. Like real life Kevin Costner in real life Waterworld. Oh my God. I want that to be reality so bad. I would be okay with that. And I imagine that like they cross over and they all look at him like, all right, what are we going to do? And he's like, fucked if I know. They're like, come on. We saw the movie.
Let us check behind your ears,
man. That was a movie. That was a script. I have no idea. I don't know how to survive on a water world. And then everyone gets pissed at Kevin Costner. It's like, oh, Kevin.
And then they get killed by the Ravagers.
Or sharks.
Or squids.
Or squids, again, because they're in the ocean. Oh my God, it's Squid's World Part 2. They didn't even see it coming. The poor bastards. Yeah, that is Squid World more advanced. Like, further in the future, after they flood the world. Like, you know what? Fuck you, land animals. We can survive in the water. We don't need you.
I think they would just put on clothes and hop on land. They'll just put a boot on each fucking tentacle. And imagine how fast they'd be with fucking 8 feet.
Oh, that is a creepy image. Just walking upright, and then they just pounce on you.
Oh.
Squirt some ink into your eye, and you're like, oh my God. And then they pounce and just bite your throat out.
It stinks.
God, squids are dicks. Leave us alone. You stay in the water. Leave the land folks alone.
Well, while the CERN scientists are playing the dimensional lottery, they're saying the failed attempts have opened portals to what they call a hell world, or
shit,
or a nightmare dimension.
Oh my God.
That's it. So see,
they open up the portal and just chains shoot out. Like, oh shit. Nightmare world. No, thank you. That's as cheesy as it sounds. If a reality, it sounds like the most terrifying place in the known universe, or the unknown universe, I guess, since we're playing dimensional lottery.
They've claimed that they've captured images of faces. I sent you a picture of it the first time we tried to record, but
yeah,
they're not. I mean,
they're not convincing. It's like, do you remember early on when we did the show, that documentary that was on Netflix, and we were gonna, I think Drew told us to watch it and do a show about it. We never ended up doing a show about it because it was fucking shit. But I can't remember. It was the one where the guy was recording all these faces that he saw in like trees, and the way the light shined on a wall.
Yeah.
Like, all these faces are dimensional beings that are peering through into our world.
I remember that. It was something about angels and demons and something like that.
Yeah, I think it was angels, demons, and aliens.
Yeah, that's it. I think we did cover that on the show.
No, I don't think we ended up covering it.
Huh.
Because we discussed it on Twitter with Drew, and we all agreed it was just a shit show that wasn't worth talking about. Yet here we are, fucking 5 years later, talking about it.
Yeah.
You win. You win, shitty documentary. You got us.
If I can find it online, I'll put it in the show notes, just because some of the stuff is super creepy, but it's all still very silly. And the same thing with these pictures of the faces from CERN. I mean,
it's really one of those things, like, if you were looking at the picture, you wouldn't even really be able to see it, but then they draw the line to show you where it is, and you're like, oh yeah, that vaguely resembles a face. But I mean, they kind of trace the outline so you get the feeling that it's a face, when really, without the outline being drawn, it's not that convincing.
Yeah, it's an image of, like, it looks like a cloud, and they have their faces traced out. And there's other spots that look more like faces that they missed.
Yeah, but it's the way that our brain works. It seeks out patterns. So you see something, you see a pattern that looks vaguely like a face, and you're going to recognize that as a face-like pattern. But I mean, it's just a series of pixels, or the way shadows play over something. It's not a face peering at you from another dimension. It's just not. Like, you can see faces in the trees, or the way that the flowers are arranged with the leaves might make the appearance of a face, or shadows playing across your yard. But it's just coincidence, man. It's not something from another dimension peeking at you.
They've also mentioned that creatures have come out of these hell or nightmare dimensions, out of the portals that they create. And there was an explosion that took place, and it destroyed something like 7 miles of this 17-mile loop that they fire these things at each other. And so a whistleblower says that was them trying to exterminate one of these things that came through these portals.
And that reminds me a lot of the Montauk stuff, with them opening the portal, and then remember that giant Bigfoot creature came through and started messing the place up, and then they had to put it down with machine guns.
That harkens all the way back to the Phil Schneider stuff.
Yeah, the whole portals opening up and then going further back. It's like fairies again. It's all this stuff just keeps repeating itself over and over and over and over. You keep going as far back as you want. And even in the Bible, you've got stories of the sky opening up and taking Jesus, or things coming out of the sky, and the angel just appearing to Mary.
Yeah.
They just things appearing out of nowhere from another plane of existence. It repeats itself throughout mythology, throughout religion, and now it's even coming over to conspiracy theories in the modern day, and the way that people experience UFOs and alien abductions and the missing 411 stuff. It's all this stuff to me just really backs up the fact that there's more to our reality than we even understand. It's not the mundane reality that a lot of us wish it to be. And I think the more we delve into physics and start to really understand the way that our world works and the way that things are created and what's holding everything together. If it wasn't for the Higgs boson and creating the Higgs field, matter wouldn't exist. It would just be particles flying around at the speed of light in chaos. And it would be, no atoms would be able to exist. But the Higgs bosons, clumping them together creates the Higgs field, which causes the particles to have mass. So without this, reality wouldn't exist. There'd be no well, I shouldn't say reality, but there would be no matter that could exist. And
this is something they discovered at CERN, right?
Well, yeah, and they have been able to measure it. But so we look at that, and that's this thing is what's holding all matter together. But we're all, and then you look at matter, and we're all essentially made up of the same things. It's just arranged in different ways, and so some things are inanimate, others are conscious. Or, well, I shouldn't say conscious, because I'm sure ants don't contemplate their existence, their place in the world. They just do ant things. But they're alive. They're living, breathing things. And then, I don't know. Our reality is a weird place. We're starting to understand that plants have a sort of intelligence. It's just not an intelligence that we understand.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins have a language. They could potentially be as smart or smarter than humans. And that's just stuff that we know about.
That's the shittiest thing about not being a billion years old or being able to live to a billion years, just to see all the shit they're going to unlock. We've mentioned it before. They're going to make a pair of glasses that are just going to show ghosts or whatever they are. And they're just going to be like, yeah, put them on. It'll be like a Ouija board just sold at Toys R Us. Put on the ghost glasses and sit there and just watch all these people go about their life because they're caught in some type of weird time loop dimension or something like that. Maybe they are spirits of dead people.
Or maybe it's our own consciousness being reflected back at us from an alternate dimension or an alternate timeline.
Yeah. Just all your thoughts break off your body and actually create the realities.
How crazy would that be if like 90% of hauntings were people haunting themselves from other dimensions or timelines?
That would be insane.
It's just their consciousness like echoing across and fucking with them unintentionally, but that'd be awesome. Or maybe it is intentionally. Maybe like, oh, I'm gonna get myself. This is gonna be fucking great.
Yeah, maybe. What if they guide the reality that you're actually in, and they try make other decisions, try other things, and see the results. So they're just like, no, just they're there to keep the reality you're in line.
Maybe, or maybe it's Barnos.
Bingo.
Yeah, we got it. Show over. But I mean, so we're just, the weird stuff that we know is weird enough. But when we start looking at all these other experiences with other dimensions and people that say they've experienced time travel, or even the people that say they've walked through a different dimension, people that have missing time, people that like the pilot in the Bermuda Triangle who flew and he like found this wormhole that transported him to where he needed to be faster than he would have gone otherwise. Like, all of these things, they all have very similar vibes to them, and it all kind of, the person experiencing them always has kind of like a surreal feeling about it, because I mean, it is a weird thing, but what if this is just part of nature? This is part of our reality, and it's just something that we haven't discovered yet. And that's what they're working to discover at CERN, is what these pockets are and what these dimensions are that we occasionally get a glimpse into.
Yeah, how many other dimensions or realities are in our existence?
Right. Or, what ghosts are.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, provided that they're not a dead person coming back, which I don't think they are, but really, I guess even if it was a person coming back, they're still accessing our dimension from another one, because they're non-physical now. So if they're non-physical, they're on a different dimension than we are.
Mm-hmm.
But they're able to interact with our dimension. So maybe they could turn themselves into ghosts to go fuck with other timelines. Let's show those fuckers at CERN in Earth 3. We'll give them a scare. And then they start having a prank war back and forth across alternate realities. They open up a portal and just 100 water balloons come flying through. Like, oh, you bastards. And then a portal opens up behind them and a bunch of glitter rains down on them when they're all soaked. Oh, you fuckers. And then everybody's sparkly and wet.
And that's what CERN is all about. Good night.
And that's what CERN is all about. Pranking other dimensions.
Or getting even with the pranksters from other dimensions.
Yeah, either way, it's a giant multi-dimensional prank war.
Well, to get to this video that was supposedly taken...
Oh, yeah. I forgot all about this one. This is crazy.
Yeah, this is pretty fucking weird. And again, it's probably fake. We'll go with that, but there are some interesting things about it. But this video first showed up on a Facebook page called Stranger Than Fiction News in 2016. But before we get to this video and what it shows, we should make mention of a certain statue that's on site at CERN. It's been photographed. We know it's there.
Oh, the statue of Kali.
Shiva, actually. It's a rather beautiful...
Oh, it's Shiva?
Yeah. A rather beautiful depiction of Shiva. She's a deity from the Hindu religion. This statue was gifted to CERN by the Department of Atomic Energy of India. The statue sits in the center of a courtyard surrounded by buildings, so it's the centerpiece of...
Yeah. It's very distinctive, the area. Like, if you see a picture of it, it's instantly recognizable.
But the video is shot from the upper level of one of these buildings with the statue as its focus. The person shooting the video states that he's supposed to be down in this courtyard, but kind of took off so he can expose what was about to happen, which he said happens regularly there. He also states that the area that this is being filmed at is for authorized personnel only. So not even everybody that works at CERN can get into this area. But the video shows the statue of Shiva at night, surrounded by a circle of people dressed in long black robes. And what appears to be a woman dressed in a white gown is brought before the statue, laid down voluntarily. She's not struggling or anything. And the robed dudes kill this woman with a rather convincing stab to the chest/stomach area.
If you notice in the reflection, they're wearing a robe. Well, it looks like they're wearing a robe, I should say.
Yeah, it kind of backs up their claim that they're supposed to be down there.
Yeah. But then CERN later put out a thing saying that this was just a prank by a bunch of rogue scientists that blah, 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 blah. No person was murdered and blah, 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 blah. But I believe it. I think it was just a prank because I think what they were doing is like, oh, look, we've got this Indian deity statue and it looks all scary and stuff. Let's put on a sacrifice.
Well, it's just weird to me. If that's the case, then CERN security sucks. And if they're trying to make black holes, you'd think they'd have good security. Because, the statue that's there, it's obviously shot at CERN. This actually happened. And, being a sicko kid watching a billion people die, I've seen dozens and dozens of people get stabbed to death. And when they stab her, it looks pretty fucking good. Her clothes catches on the blade as they take it out.
Can I just stop you for a second and say how funny I think it is that for the second week in a row, you talk about how you've seen what it looks like when someone is actually murdered in some horrific way.
Sometimes it's relevant.
It's my history as a psychotic teenager, showed me lots of videos of people being maimed and murdered in various different ways. So I speak from experience when I...
That's what the internet's for, murder and porn, right?
I've never had a desire to look up the murder. Like I've never watched Faces of Death. I was never interested in watching other people being destroyed in various ways. I like my murder to be fake and done with lots of corn syrup and food coloring.
Maybe this isn't the best topic while we're talking about Blur. So we'll get back to the video. Yeah, I mean, watching somebody get murdered, you know, a whole cult sacrifice being caught on film. It sounds too good to be true.
It does. But I mean, if it was to be caught on tape, it would have been caught on tape by someone who was defecting. But you'd have to assume that if there's going to be a group of people that are going to murder somebody, that if there was one of their number missing, that would be a little suspicious. Like, hey, where's Fred? God damn it. I knew he would get cold feet. Like, you'd think that would be a loose end that you'd want to tie up, you know?
Yeah, I kind of wondered if there was a real group that was murdering people in front of statues.
Just any statue will do. Just give us a statue and we'll murder in front of it. We're not picky.
Bob's Big Boy just standing there. Whatever. But if there's a group doing that, if somebody was missing, I don't think they would continue with the sacrifice. But who knows? It could have been like a certain time of night on a certain date with the moon in a certain position, and they had to.
We had to. We're compelled by the moon, damn it.
We'll have to wait another 75 years for this. Kill the bitch.
Yeah. The prophecy states when the moon is right and the statue of Shiva is present, virgin blood must be spilled.
Fuck Steve, we'll do it without him.
And it is a whole place of physicists, so I'm sure there's a lot of virgins there, you know what I'm saying? Nerds. I'm just kidding, I love nerds. I'm a nerd myself. I'm also a virgin. Leave me alone.
It's interesting to me is that CERN doesn't necessarily have to be involved, but like I said, it definitely happened on their property.
CERN, if it's, I mean, maybe not CERN like the greater organization, but can we just pause for a second and comment on the 666 in their logo?
Yes.
Or if you look at it right though, it also looks like a 6969 because one of the sixes has like two things coming off it. And one of the sixes is backwards. So it could be 6969.
They're just a bunch of horny freaks.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, again, they're virgin scientists. What do they know? They still think 69 is funny. They snicker. Like, oh, we got him. 6969.
They sacrifice that girl like for a spell so that they can get chicks. And they're like, oh, we had one here.
Yeah, we had one here the whole time. But we cut her throat and stabbed her a bunch of times. And we're still virgins. Damn it.
I don't know. Cults like that are known to exist all over the world to this day. So, I mean, the possibility of that being an actual sacrifice, maybe. I mean, like we said, the only way it could be captured is by a defector, somebody that's supposed to be there. But I just can't get over the fact of that. It was actually filmed there. And again, this area is not accessible to the normal CERN employee. That's a lot of people to sneak in. You know, it was definitely done by people who work at CERN.
Yeah, well, or visiting CERN. Maybe they were undercover as a group of scientists, and like, hey, we would like to use your scientific instruments. And they're like, why do you want to use our scientific instruments? They're like, for science. Sold. And then they go and they just wait for a portal to hell to open up, and then they sacrifice this girl so that her soul gets sucked into hell, and then squid demons spill out onto the grounds and rip everybody not wearing a stupid black robe apart.
Other weird shit goes on when they fire these things up too, right? Isn't there like an increase in UFO activity?
Well, there's the UFO activity, and remember this is a reference from the first time we recorded this show, so I don't know how whatever. But there's a picture of when they fired up their particle collider at one point, and there's this huge cloud and all this lightning and shit. It's scary as hell. It looks like it looks like the sky in Child's Play when he's doing the chant.
I think you sent over that photo. It is rather dramatic.
Yeah. And then there's even people that make the... I mean, it's not really based on anything other than tinfoil hat wearing people, but the Norway spiral was CERN opening up.
That's
a portal.
some bizarre footage too.
Yeah, the Norway spiral is really weird, and I don't give a shit. I do not buy that was a fucking missile.
Not at all, man. I mean, it was symmetrically perfect almost. It was a giant spiral in the sky.
And then it like collapses in on itself. It's so weird. Like that is the weirdest. I don't know. Like a missile, if it's spiraling out of control, it's not going to stay in one point in the air. That thing was at a fixed point spinning like a spiral, and it just fizzled out.
Just seeing that photo and all the other weird shit that we've talked about and what people say really goes on there. Do you really think they're doing some weird shit there? I mean, but granted, making little black holes is weird enough.
No, I don't. I think it's like the HARP thing. You remember when we did the episode on HARP way back when? I think it's the same thing. It's just like some weird sciencey place, and a lot of people don't understand the sciencey science that goes on there. And it's fun to make up stories about. Like if they're doing all the testing the Higgs boson and creating miniature black holes and doing all sorts of things like that, why not pretend that they're opening portals to hell worlds and squid worlds and water worlds and all other manner of alternate Earths and unlocking time travel and doing all sorts of wacky shit? It's fun.
Yeah. With them doing what they do there that we know of, it's really easy just to be able to pretty much dump whatever you want and say they're doing whatever. They're fucking with dimensions, bro. They had to run into something weird. It's just easy to go there.
And most people don't understand what's going on. So it's really easy to tell them, like, oh my God, if they collide the right particles in the right way, in the right place, they can open up a dimensional rift and it'll suck our reality in, and creatures from that reality will come out, and it's going to be all topsy-turvy and crazy, and everyone's going to die or become slaves to squids.
I mean, we wouldn't even have a chance to realize what was happening if they did lose control of a black hole. It would just all be over in a second.
Maybe. Or maybe we'd see what's on the other side. But that's, I mean, that's a common misconception anyway about, like, that it's another, well, I don't even know if it's a misconception, just like another one of those wacky theories that's thrown out there that the black hole, if you go into a black hole, you go into another world. Isn't that what, what's that movie? You know the one. Oh, God damn it, Mateo. What is it called? The one with Lawrence Fishburne that's not The Matrix.
Oh, Event Horizon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they did? They went into the black hole and ended up going through hell.
Well, in that film, what they did was they were kind of experimenting with how to travel through space. So in the movie, they explained it with like a sheet of paper, and he draws a dot on one side of the paper and a dot at the other end. And he says, what's the quickest way to get to one dot to the other? And somebody draws a straight line, and he just grabs a paper and folds it in half.
Yeah, it's like the classic explanation. I even use that explanation in my Skinwalker story.
Yeah. But they're attempting to use that form of travel by folding time and space, and wherever they reached was like a haunted hell type of dimension. That movie's awesome.
Yeah, I remember it being really cool. But anyway, wow, this show is full of digressions.
It is.
This got a lot more ridiculous than our first. Like, I don't even remember our first one. I think I deleted the one that I sent you.
Yeah.
But the first one was, we took it seriously, I feel. But who knows? This one this got ridiculous and out of control. And frankly, I blame Aldo.
Yeah, that's what happens on redos.
Yeah.
Our minds wander more.
The one that we had to do 3 times in 1 week.
Oh, God. I do, and I wouldn't want to go back and listen to.
The third one, no, I think the third one was our best one. Because the first one
Oh, yeah?
I tried to do like legit. And then the second one, the third one or the second one, I just tried to redo it, but it was, a lot more lackluster because I was redoing the same information. And then when we had to do it the third time, I'm like, fuck this. This show could go suck a dick. I don't even remember what show it was either.
Me neither, but I definitely do remember that. I had the same attitude the third time around.
Yeah. It ended up being really good though. I think it was pretty funny. But it was something about space travel or other aliens or I don't any number of episodes that we've done in the past that are absolutely ridiculous about space and aliens, which probably is about half of them. So anyway.
When you think about what they're doing at CERN, is that kind of nerve-wracking for you at all? For them to be slamming atoms together and trying to make...
No, they've got it under control. They've been around since the 50s. They're not fucking around.
Yeah, there are 22 countries that are involved with CERN, so it's literally the best minds from half the world. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't think that's some shit they should be messing with. But I mean, just look what they've discovered already. I guess they're gonna have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really interesting stuff that they're doing, and it's allowing us to learn more about the nature of our reality. Before we had the Large Hadron Collider, the Higgs field was we didn't have any means to measure it, and with this, we're able to measure it and study it and learn more about it.
I just want them to discover how to become invisible.
They already did that in the Philadelphia experiment.
Well, yeah, that had horrible consequences, though.
Well, they did it, though. They were invisible for a minute. And it was just when they came back. That was the problem. It was the coming back. The disappearing was fine. That worked. That worked wonderfully. And they just got to perfect the coming back part now.
Would you want to be able to travel through time or be invisible? I think the travel through time thing is just a little bit too much responsibility.
Yeah, I agree with that, because then you'd be creating all these like crazy alternate timelines and the future. Like if you went back in time and you're like, oh, I'm going to prepare for the future. That's not going to be your future because your future already exists. It's going to be a different future. And it just, I would much rather be invisible.
Yeah. What if you accidentally go like as far into the future as you can? You find some giant floating blob in space with eyeballs all over. It's literally just everything's a Lovecraft story.
That would be cool if you could go into the future, like, but you could only go a minimum of 200 years into the future.
A maximum?
No, a minimum. So you can't see like future within your lifetime or even your kid's lifetime.
That's a good point.
So you like 200 years or more into the future and you're good. Go like a million years into the future just to see what things are like. And then you find out it's squids and roaches.
How scary would that be if you're traveling through time and it just stops? Boom, there's an end of time.
You ran out of time. But nope, there's no more time. God damn.
Time does not exist beyond this point.
Please turn around and go back.
That would be scarier than shit.
I mean, maybe not, because by that point in time, you got to figure all human life would have been gone for millions of years, if not billions.
Yeah.
I'd want to check out what happens when the sun goes supernova.
Yeah. Watch the Earth go through another ice age.
The Earth would be obliterated.
Yeah, if there was a supernova of the sun, yeah. But just imagine what happens to the Earth when humans are no longer on it. Just watch it turn to a green ball and then freeze over and then explode.
Yeah. And then there'd be some other species that took over, though. There would become a dominant species on the planet. And it would be whoever is designed to thrive. It's survival of the fittest. And that's why it would be roaches and squid.
Yeah. And them squids are the fittest of all.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to rule the world, guys. It's inevitable. There'll be squid archaeologists like a million years from now digging up the remains of our cities. Like, oh my God, there was a civilization before us on Earth. And then there'll be like the mainstream squid scientists. No, you're wrong. There was never a civilization before us. It never happened.
And there'll be a squid on television going, humans, instead of George Tsoukalos going, aliens.
Yeah. I'm not saying it was humans, but it was humans. The squid, he walks on top of his head and has his tentacles all sticking straight up in the air. Giorgio, I love that motherfucker. He's the wackiest son of a bitch around.
He's like the Conor McGregor of
ancient
alien theorists. He said had to do some wacky shit. And just get it in the spotlight and then just fade away.
Oh yeah, because I mean, really, at this point, he is that show.
Yeah, that's his baby.
Like, people, you ask anybody about Ancient Aliens, that's the only guy that they're gonna know.
Just think of all the impressive people they've had on there.
Yeah, seriously. Like, they've had Graham Hancock on there. And then you got this guy who, like, that show made that guy. He was not known by anybody until that show came out, and now he's known by everybody, and he's got a meme, and if you have a meme, you're like the most relevant person on earth. So you're the most relevant person on earth, Giorgio, for your, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens meme.
Dude, I'll never forget when I went to the Alien Con, and dude, he had straight up groupies there waiting for him.
I believe it, man. I totally believe it. He hooks up with all these chicks wearing like gray alien cosplay and like female predator cosplay. He's like, come on, keep that costume on.
Maybe I should cut my hair in some weird way. Say some weird shit so I can get us a TV show.
Wear some rings.
Yeah.
Get the chest hair out.
That'll probably cost us viewers. But hey, it's okay.
Oh, it'll gain us viewers. They'll be like, oh shit, look at that sexy man meat.
Whenever anybody complains about chest hair, or any ladies say it's gross, I say it's okay. I know that girls hate it, but women love it. Bitch.
Now stroke my chest hair.
Thank you for listening to the Whatcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube. Enjoy the podcast. Get yourself a Whatcast t-shirt or a sticker pack. Who was that dude on that one episode? Try the links in Homie's page. All this and more can be found at www.thewhatcasters.com. Thanks again for listening and have a great week.